Yeah, very big welcome to you, my dear Aquarius. So the Earth has continued its path around the Sun, and we see now behind the Sun the constellation Virgo. And Virgo is, of course, the sixth house of health, ruled by Mercury, which is in retrograde right now. And the Moon as well has made its path around the Earth, and we see behind the Moon now the constellation Aquarius. And this moment exists only once a year, and that's when I do the reading for you, so I get the information. Here we see the 11th house of friendships. You are sitting all alone up here with the Taj Mahal. And the Taj Mahal is something that we actually look at and we like, something like this exists, right? And so are you as a star. Oh my God, a star exists, and a star is something that we cannot reach to. It's almost like, yeah, it's so far, and still we have people who are stars here in our dimension. Ruled by Uranus, and Uranus is the planet of revolution. There is a revolution happening right now because we're going into the age of Aquarius. And even Pluto, the planet of transformation, the outer planet of our solar system, is actually going next year fully into Aquarius for at least 20 years. So there's going to be a huge change. And you can see how she's literally looking over to this figure. Here we have Salvador Dali. And Salvador Dali used Luca Pacioli, a Renaissance scholar who actually invented the modern bookkeeping. So here you're sitting all alone and you're looking over to Virgo, and Virgo is actually one of those zodiac signs that you can talk to because they go deep within, and they also like to remove themselves from society. And you have now an opportunity to actually communicate very closely with Virgo, and so we're going to see what Virgo wants to tell you through the light of the sun. Here we have mountain pose, up in the mountain. Virgo meets the past and the future in the present moment. And for you, the yoga pose is side plank with one leg and one arm up. And here you are becoming the star, the eighth star, the star of transformation. And you are shining to the other people the future, right? You are a little bit like that kind of perspective that we feel like, okay, there is something else that we can now move into, and that's what an air sign does to us, because the age of Pisces that we're transitioning into yours, and it's going backwards, of course, because that's the wobble the Earth does around its own axis, right? And the age of Pisces was very emotional, right? Deep emotions, the swarm, right? With many, I feel protected, and now there are a lot of stars up in the sky as well, but still each star has its own power. And so this is an air sign, and as an air sign and as a fixed sign, things are going to get a little bit different and quite fixed. As a court card, you, the King of Swords. Now in this deck we have a masculine and a feminine king, and here I picked the feminine because the masculine has come up in the reading. If your birthday is between January 9th and February 7th, then this is your court card. If not, look in the description below. I have listed all the dates down there. You are the star. As you can see, you are putting the stars on your dress, and the dress looks like Uranus, the revolutionary planet that is changing everything. And we're gonna see now what the message is here. I'm just gonna pick one more card out of the Lifruma Healing Oracle, because this is my latest deck that I purchased in 2023. I haven't found another one that I want to purchase. So this one has the rune alphabet embedded in it. And so I find it very fascinating how these cards speak in a very eclectic way. Rose, sap, impassioned. The number 46. And you can see that the rune alphabet, these are forms and figures that speak to us. And let this picture just take you to another place, right? And you see the 46. The 4 is the Emperor, the stability, and the heart chakra. The 6 is the Lovers, is self-love, and the 6th chakra. So together creates a 10, a new cycle, the 1, the first chakra, the stability, or in the Kabbalistic tree of life, the 1 is God, is the crown, Keter, right? So you can either go down to the base or up to the crown. It doesn't matter because they interchange, right? You have to always remember that from the chakras we get tubes. From the 7th chakra we get a tube up here. And from the 1st chakra we also get a tube down there. And the other chakras go out and back. And so the number 1 can be up here, but also at the base. And so the 10 is a new cycle, is a new moment that you have realized something. I'm going to read you this card. Of course, you can also read it yourself. You can stop the video and enlarge the picture. The groundswell surge that defies the gravitational pull of all things. To be sapped, to shrink or shrivel, that is ended and over. This is when you get back up. No, you will walk on. Sap rises when ready. Sap drives itself upward. Sap creates growth of tremendous pressure. Its power almost splits the trunk as it forces through the ancient branches. When a tree weeps or bleeds, it is in joy that it is alive and still growing. Wow. So it's interesting, right? See the pictures? Wow, very cool. Good. So this deck I put on the position of the Last Judgment. And this is the call. Be like the sap, rise up, no matter where or how deep you have come, you rise and you even break a tree. And that's what she is calling you to actually feel, right? And so we're going to start the reading and see how this ties in to the message of Virgo on the position of the Fool. Comes the 5 of Swords. And it's really interesting because the 1 sword points upward. And again, it's that rise up. Here she goes down, right? Down the rabbit hole. Because this is an inspiration. This is not a person. This is a state of consciousness that is in you. But there are also quarrels in your head. There's something talking to you that is saying, well, you are meeting your shadow side. You are meeting something that is wanting to tell you Venus in Aquarius, right? This is the constellation Venus in Aquarius, is letting you know, well, recognize that you can always cut with the 1 sword through any difficulty. And I think you're recognizing what you have to do here. Then on the position of the Magician, as you can see, I place the card to the left because we're reading to the left. You just had your Aquarius full moon, right? Where Leo Sun gave your Aquarius full moon the light. And the message was 6 times 4. I see in my heart the strong guidance this full moon brings. And when you have arrived at your full moon, you have gone as far out as possible to your opposite sign, and that's Leo. And now we go back. We go back to the left, right? We are going to the full moon to the right, as far right, as humanly right as we can. And when we go to the new moon, we go back in. we go to ourselves, where sun and new moon are both in our sign, and there's not another sign influencing us. You're coming home into the dark, and that's when we go to the left, right? The soul resides in the dark, even though a lot of people say the soul is the light. But here we are recognizing now that on the position of the magician comes the magic. And so the 33, very clearly a portal that I not calculate together, is helping you to actually recognize the magic now, because he's in the head, and this is a state of consciousness that is saying, well, what I'm going to do with this foolish idea that I can actually cut through all difficulties with that one sword, and recognize that this is what life brings me, because the swords are your tool. It's connected with the thoughts, it's connected with the mind, and it's connected with the air. And so here we have the one and only magician that brings magic to you, and she's really looking at you and she's saying, yeah, believe in that, believe in the magic, believe in the number 33, 2 times 3, being creative and powerful, empowered, right? Empower yourself. However you do that doesn't matter, you just do it. And she's like a child, and she looks at you and she's like, well, see that? It's almost like this girl here, she's looking at you now and saying, just do it. Go up into the sky, like the magic hand is helping you to be the magician, and cut through all the bullshit, cut through the earthly, the four, right? Cut through the earthly expectations and the squareness and that kind of thinking that sometimes makes us feel like we're trapped here. Then comes on the position of the High Priestess, the 4 of Wands. And that's connected with the constellation Venus in Aries. So it's very interesting. We had Venus in Aquarius, and now we have Venus in Aries. And Aries is a high time that became a marriage. And the high time is like, okay, now here are also 4 wands crossing, and the Lord of perfected work, right? When you don't think about anymore why you're working, you just work. Then you come into your intuition, then you flow like the ocean with the boat, and she's looking at you and she's like, yeah, flow at work, and flow in your relationships, and flow with it, because the 4 and the 2 creates a 6, creates the 6 here in the sap that is rising and is giving you a reason to get up again, to get out again. And so the self-love that we recognize, if I calculate 2 3s together, it's also 6, right? So the 6 is self-love. It's in Gemini, the Lovers card, right? We love first and foremost ourselves, and then we can have a partner that loves himself so much, and together you both create then the magic. So I recognize you in your intuition that you just have to trust that Venus in Aries is coming to you and letting you know everything is okay. You can do this. On the position then of the Empress comes the star, comes Les Étoiles, the number 17. So here we have 1, the Magician, and 7, of course, the Chariot, Cancer, and together it's an 8. And the 8 is Leo. So you had back then the Aquarius full moon with Leo giving you the light. And so you birthed yourself, right? It's almost like saying, yeah, here you had back then the full moon, and you recognize now your power because you gave birth to yourself. Then the 3 calculated together with the 17 is a 20. And that's then the 20 that brought here the number 46. So the 20 brought a 10, a new beginning to you. It's calling you to say, well, no matter what the situation is, you give birth to yourself again and again and again. So it's very beautiful, right? You are here recognizing that you love to be with yourself. Now, I can calculate the 17 to an 8, and then the 3 with the 8 is an 11 portal. You see, before that I gave you a 20, and that was the last judgment. Now I give you an 11, and 11 is a portal, and a portal is always that moment where you say, okay, what I'm going to do with this portal, because a portal is an opening, right? A double, 2 times 1 is you have the creativity. On the position of Virgo comes the Tower. And the Tower is the 16, the 1, the Magician, and the 6, the self-love. So in that magic of self-love, right, you have recognized here the 1, and with the 33 in a way the 6, you are able to really let go of expectations, of things that don't work with you anymore. And when we calculate it together, it's becoming a 7, and you have the 7 here. So recognize that the 7 is again the success out of 16. The Tower, when you accept the Tower, then again success is coming to you. Now see with Virgo that Virgo is telling you to really truly let go, to fall from the sky, right? Sometimes even a star has to fall, and here it's very romantic. It's like, oh, it's a shooting star and we can make a wish. For you it's like, okay, I guess a death kind of sentence. And the 9 and the 7 calculated together is the 16, and again then the 7 is left. So Virgo is telling you let go, because when you let go and things fall apart, what happens is that you can build new things. On the position of the King of Swords comes the Tower again. So here the Tower looks completely different, right? You can see she's holding on to the Tower, and you as the female king needs to recognize that she is holding on to something that cannot be saved anymore. And so the 7 and the 11 calculated together, which I usually don't, right? But it's an 18, and the 18 creates the 9, and so Virgo is here telling you, let go. Don't hold on. It doesn't make sense, right? And so, yeah, you are called to let go of that shooting star. Maybe you even having the force or the power to hold this shooting star, and nevertheless, you are called to now create a new moment for you, because this is your destiny, right? It's almost like saying, yes, you have to, because on the position of the star, the Taj Mahal, comes the King of Swords, the masculine King of Swords. And it's really interesting, right? So here is the feminine king, and here you have the masculine king coming to you. And the masculinity in you is telling you, well, sometimes you appear in the sky. The feminine is that chaotic side in you that sometimes holds on to things that you feel like, oh my God, I cannot let go of that. But it's almost like he's saying, well, let go. Just let go, because I'm seeing with my left eye the clarity of this is done. But my right eye sees that even the masculine side, because I see with my right eye that the bird is telling me this is ending. This kind of behavior is ending. And you holding that one sword that has cut through these 4 swords, right? Now the sword is pointing down. It's almost like he's waiting. But remember the sap that goes up, right? The sap that is breaking free So here you break free from stereotypes, and you are what you are, either masculine or feminine, it doesn't matter. You are what you are. And so here you're called to truly be a samurai that only uses the sword when he needs to. Then on the position of the moon, which is in your sign, right, is coming here the drifter, the number 14, the experiencing life as it comes. Then when you accept, like the samurai, that life is what it is, and he has that inner strength, that inner vision, also through the bird, the clarity, then you can allow these monsters to come up, allow that everything has a moment, because you had here the 18, remember? You, the feminine, that's falling apart sometimes. It's that moment of like, oh God, I cannot hold on any longer. I want to let go. Was calculated together the 18, and the 18 of the moon is like that emotional side the moon brings to us. You called to drift. The 1 and the 4, the magician, and again the emperor, the 4 of wands, right? Speaking to you. Continue to know that your intuition is telling you everything, and you don't have to worry. The 1 and the 4 then creates a 5, and that's then connected with this 5. Know that this inner quarrel, sometimes you just have to let it go and drift and be like, okay, I guess I'm learning. So the 18 is a 9, and the 14 is a 5, and we get a 14 again, and the 5 is left. So the 5 portal saying, well, recognize that you have to accept that certain quarrels and certain difficult situations are just part of life. And so you can handle any monster that is coming up in the connection of the moon, the subconscious, right? All those monsters that are waiting to surface, let them just drift, let them just go. Then on the position of the sun comes this rock. The rock, the endurance, the 20, and this is the 19, which is 1 the magician and 9 the hermit. The hermit speaks to you through the sun and is letting you know, well, you're strong. Look at this rock. Look at the sap that comes out of this tree, breaking, holding on to anything, right? So we have then a 10 and a 20, which is a 30, which is then the Empress, and on the Empress we had the 20, right? We had you here, you give birth to yourself again and again, and also she has the bird. Now she has the bird over her left eye, and it's her right eye that sees this endurance, that you have the strength to be really yourself and listening to the call, and that the call was this, right? That you know and understand that sap is something that rises all of a sudden, right? And you cannot do anything about it, but you endure that. You have the rock, and you understand now that Virgo is telling you, just recognize your inner core, recognize your strength, and always connect with that. Always. Because then on the position of the world comes the Queen of Wands. And the Queen of Wands is Aries. The 4 of Wands came here, and that was Venus in Aries, right? Venus, the beauty, and Aries, of course, Mars. So here you are then looking into this energy field, and the 21, and the first zodiac sign is a 22. 22 is the Fool, and on the Fool came the Five of Swords, that quarrel, Venus in Aquarius. Then you know that it's all just in your head. Sometimes whatever drama is happening, it's just in your head. And the whole world is feeling that as well, right? All the dramas that we see out there in the world, it's all in our head. The more we calm, the more we like a rock and endure anything, we can just be there and arrive. And you know that here, this is the 21 is a 3 and the 1 is a 4, right? So here I calculate then it to a 4, but I can also do a 21 plus a 1 is a 22. Then it's a portal, right? And so it can be a portal or the 4. Again, the 4 that came here. Again, the 4 that one sword cuts through. And so to close this cycle, because everything is cyclical, right? So here you see that it's your soul sending you this. You're looking into the human path and you're looking into the rock and into the endurance, and you're like, I can do this. I have been doing this for so many years. I can do this as well. So whatever is coming here, whatever the 5 senses are bringing me, I can do it because I'm strong, because I understand. I understand how everything is functioning, and that everything is just a new cycle. Again and again, breaking free, coming out, right? And here you are, seeing it in your head and being all clear and being all empowered and knowing that you know what to do, right? You know that when you understand how everything functions, right, that even this holding on, right, sometimes the feminine aspect of holding on and emotionally being like all over the place, right, remember that you had also the masculine side that just can detach itself and say, well, in my head I understand all of this is happening, but I'm up there, I'm the star, I am the new age of Aquarius. So I hope I see you in the next reading, because then the Earth turns in such a way that we see behind the Sun then the constellation Libra. Libra is justice, and we're going to see what that air sign wants to tell you, because it's the Queen of Swords. Until then, I thank you so much for being with me. Namaste.